Hey everyone, Dan here with another video, and before we open up shop today, I'm saying this now, this video is purely a spoiler video. If you're not caught up on My Hero Academia Vigilantes, or if you don't read Vigilantes, I insist you read up or watch my last video for all the details, and then come on back. The reason why I say read up is because I'm going to be giving you a little bit of an explanation about who Compass Kid is. And maybe you'll be inspired to check out Vigilantes and show some support. Like I've said before, support means an anime, and Koichi and the Vigilantes definitely deserve an anime. So, today's video, it's about Compass Kid. And when Compass Kid first appeared, I initially called out death flags immediately. I was convinced that this dude was going to die, and he was just merely cannon fodder for somebody like Number 6 to kill and frame Koichi with murder. Well, as of the most recent chapter, it kind of looks like Compass Kid has finally kicked the bucket, and it looks like some of you actually believe Compass Kid is dead. But after the way that it was kind of depicted, I don't think that's the case. So without further ado, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified the minute I post a video. So let's open up the bar and maintain at least 6 feet apart, shall we? Okay, so before I go into my bag for my theory, for the people who have zero clue who Compass Kid is, a little bit of a breakdown for a character that we've come to get to know over the course of the past few chapters. This bio might seem a little bit premature because we don't know his civilian identity, but pretty much to summarize, we know what kind of person he is more than who he is, because, aesthetics. So the hero Compass Kid is actually a freelance hero, so he's technically like a hero without an agency, kind of like a Racerhead. From there, he was chosen to be a part of the capture and perimeter team during the apprehension of Popstep. He's been seen stating that his main aspiration for continuing hero work, despite being a terrible hero and having a lot going for him, he wants to get that one special moment that heroes get where they go beyond and they're shot into superstardom. He wants to be able to tell his children that once upon a time, Daddy was a great hero. Now, as for his quirk, it's called Pointer. It allows him to spin rapidly, and whatever he's trying to find, his quirk then points him in that direction. Granted, his quirk doesn't have the earth-shattering abilities of One for All or the combat readiness of Slide and Glide, but it's literally the compass Jack Sparrow uses from Pirates of the Caribbean. Anything this guy wants, he can find. And granted, we don't know the reliability of the quirk, but essentially, if he thinks of that person, place, object, or whatever it may be, he can point to it. As for strength and accuracy, my guess would be that it doesn't matter how vague, broad, or specific the requirements might be, as long as Compass Kid knows what he's looking for, it'll appear to him. It's an absolutely amazing quirk, and if it wasn't wacky as hell, it could rival Ragdoll's Search. Knowing how strong this quirk is though, it kinda shows me that Compass Kid really didn't try hard enough to be a hero. But while we're on that topic, let's talk about why the fact this guy should have never been a hero. The biggest red flag for me was just Compass Kid's appearance. By looking at his uniform alone, we could tell that this guy's no pro hero. He's a part-timer, he's a clout chaser, he's overweight, and his costume doesn't even fit anymore. He's definitely somebody who got his hero license as easy as Number 6 did, which kind of shows us that maybe the system's still a little bit broken here. And despite having a wife and child at home who rely on him, his selfishness and greed has him wanting the moment where he's the hero that saves the day. But I guess for some reason he thought that this was just going to be a walk in the park and he was just going to get this while sleeping. Why? Because in his entire life he's probably never had the oh shit moment like the one in this chapter. This is the moment where, in my opinion, his entire personality shifts. He goes from, let me teach this youngin' Rock Nomura how to be a hero, to, oh my god, am I gonna die? Is this young man that I'm advising gonna die? Is my child gonna grow up without a father? And when you think about it, in a twisted way of thinking, he could actually represent what Koichi could possibly become. Not everyone in the game becomes All Might. But if you keep chasing your goal half-heartedly, the repercussions are bound to catch up eventually. And, as Ron Swanson would say,
never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.
Koichi has started to recognize this, and it's why he was removing himself from the game. But the thing is, not only did Koichi do well and get his skin in the game, he did very well. Compass Kid, on the other hand, he's in it for way too long, and he's not really that great of a hero. But if you're Compass Kid, you're a character that's meant to embody the ideal that Stain essentially kills for. If Stain saw someone like Compass Kid on the street, he wouldn't even stand a chance. Compass Kid is the epitome of a fake hero, just there for the glory, the accolades, everything that Stain would just find nauseating. From here, let's move to the scene where Compass Kid is executed. I know, this is a gruesome scene. His arm literally splats on the ground after a vom sounds. The thing is, if I'm wrong, and shit, I'm wrong. but I like to think that I've seen enough television, movies, and I've certainly read enough comics and manga to understand that unless you're Game of Thrones Season 7, when somebody dies, you show the damn body. In the beginning, when he was first introduced, I told you guys, I was totally on the side that Compass Kid is gonna get murdered. But then this scene happened, and I was left thinking, no body? Nuh-uh. I thought about the fact that they gave Compass Kid's backstory depth. Too much depth. I tried to rationalize it as Furuhashi was just attempting to make us all connect with Compass Kid a little bit more by telling us about his family and dreams. That way, when Furuhashi decides that he's going to have number 6 blow up Compass Kid, only leaving a hand behind, you feel a stronger connection to the character, thinking like, damn dude, that guy leaves behind the family. Koichi really has to stop him now. And with us knowing what Compass Kid leaves behind, it dramatically raises the stakes. But since reading Chapter 80, I've been trying to rationalize in my head that I don't think Compass Kid is dead. First of all, why bring him into the story in the first place? Number 6 already killed 3 other heroes to frame Koichi. His death is just gratuitous at that point, and it's just coincidence. Number 6 could have just grabbed the gun, popped him real quick, but instead, he decided to murder the hell out of him because he didn't like him. So the way that I try to approach manga theorism is I try to take a step inside the shoes of the writer. I try to think. Compass Kid is the one hero that's truly objective to the story. His quirk can ultimately help Koichi get out of trouble, and it can implicate number 6. In My Hero Academia in general, when you think about the characters that we've been introduced to that have died, Night Eye especially, when they die, it's almost like they've exhausted their purpose to the plot. I know, it's messed up to say, but it's true. Characters get killed that way when they serve their purpose. It's why good shows end up writing off good characters. When there's nothing left for them, what's the point of them sticking around? You might as well kill them to make the character grow. We knew nothing of Night Eye's ambitions beyond the overhaul mission. He dedicated his life to finding a successor to One For All, and once he met Deku, he was changed by him. Night Eye's circumstance within the universe of My Hero Academia changed. We know more about Compass Kid's personal life than we knew about X-Less and the ex-Billboard hero Dust. Crust. Oh boy. And with Shirakumo, we saw a sheet over the body. We never actually saw Shirakumo dead. And there are plenty of instances where this exists outside of anime in general. I won't go into it and start rambling, but put it this way, it's in plenty of shows. As for how I think Compass Kid will suddenly appear pointing his bloody stump at number 6, well, we now know as of the most recent chapter that number 6 in fact is actually trying to frame Koichi with murder. So, my grandiose idea for the ending of Vigilantes consists of Endeavor arriving on scene and seeing Koichi with Popstep after he's finally apprehended her. The Naruhata gang then shows up and is ready to treat Pop while Koichi gets chased down by Endeavor. During this incident, Koichi realizes he has to stall, so he tries to get away from Endeavor and being pushed to his limits goes way beyond and finally unlocks flight. Unfortunately though, his efforts will probably be fruitless. This is Endeavor we're talking about here, but as he's cornered, it's obvious that the civilians of Naruhata are going to appear and come to the aid of Koichi, telling Endeavor to piss off. Simultaneously, we'll have number 6 seeing Soga and the boys treating Popstep, and it would cause him to realize that if these kids save the girl that I need to die, I'm gonna be implicated. So that instantly means that number 6 has to get rid of his implication, because the threads of his plan are further beginning to unravel, so it looks like the body count might have to climb on number 6's end. The Naruhata boys, on the other hand, from their point of view, they have to deal with the homicidal number 6. Though I gotta say, the obvious moment is coming where number 6 is getting ready to kill the 3 boys, and then Knuckle Duster appears suddenly and cracks number 6 in the face. Now, during this scenario, I haven't mentioned where Compass Kid's role falls within the climax, but mentioning where he might be is actually the beginning of a question that I've started to formulate over the past few videos. Will Tsukauchi reveal his quirk, too? Whether or not this will happen during or after Endeavor's fight with Koichi is where my theory kinda gets shaky. I think in general, number 6 will probably snitch to either Tsukauchi or Endeavor, but if the citizens make Endeavor realize that the Crawler's a good guy, and they want to let the Raging Hero know that if he wants to hurt the Crawler, they're gonna have to go through them, in that aspect, it means it's gonna have to go to Tsukauchi. And maybe in that moment, Tsukauchi gets stressed out because we already see that he's kind of stressed out as it is. In that aspect, that means Soga and all them are going to have Tsukauchi on their side, so number 6 is going to have to appeal to Tsukauchi. And maybe it gets so heated in the moment without Tsukauchi knowing who's telling the truth or not that Tsukauchi has to take a page out of the Vigilante Handbook and finally figure out the truth, and we get the moment where he reveals his quirk. Picture this for the climax. Suddenly, as Tsukauchi is getting ready to go against everything he stands for, to break the law that he protects with no regret, and as he begins to turn on his quirk, out of the alley, a bloodied, wounded Compass Kid appears, who has the registered quirk that is pretty much a lie detector. And he cries out, "No, the Vigilantes didn't do this." And using his quirk, he points and shouts, "Rock Nomura did." Now, do I know if number 6 will be beaten by Knuckle Duster by then? Do I even know if Knuckle Duster will show up? No. I can't assume that yet. I don't even know if we'll actually get number 6 versus Koichi. Endeavor might melt number 6 and he'll turn into the sludge villain for all we know. I think the one concrete thing that we can guarantee is that number 6 will probably lose his shit. As the arc wraps up though, I really think that Compass Kid is gonna get his story and he'll finally receive the credit for the takedown of number 6 because Koichi and the Vigilantes can't. We've seen what heroic society does when it comes to vigilantism, and the UA Kids versus Stain is the perfect example. I actually think that Endeavor got the credit for the collar of Stain. But if Compass Kid is the person who reveals number 6 is the true villain and saves the day, well, I guess the guy would finally get his Cinderella story after all. But yeah, that's my theory. If I'm wrong and Compass Kid is actually dead, I think it's a little bit of a waste of a character and a little bit of waste of story exposition. I hope by the end of this video I persuaded you to kind of look at it from a different angle. Like the way that they framed Compass Kid being murdered, I just don't think that he actually was. I think he's still alive or he's like on the verge of death. They have shown us number 6 sitting on a pile of bodies before, so it's totally a different story in that case. With no body, I don't believe it. So I don't want to give up on Compass Kid right away. I still have hope that the story isn't just going to kill somebody without narrative consequence. I think it would be hilarious and poetic though if Koichi had to keep quiet like he did with Captain Celebrity. And to be honest, we kinda know by now that Koichi is the type of dude who wouldn't want his name near this incident anyway. If you agree with my theory, be sure to leave a like, and as always, be sure to start the discussion down below. And one last quick note, thank you to everybody who congratulated me on my Funimation job. It really means a lot to me that all of you kind of came out and, went out and said that about me. My goal is to become a voice actor, so we'll see what happens from it. But this is Dan, signing off. Peace.